The world of peanuts. That is what my livelihood surrounds because my father is one of the owners of a local peanut shop, Whitley's Peanuts. When he bought into this company a little over 10 years ago, the company was quite archaic compared to the other companies of the time. The only computer they had in the company was the one used to print shipping labels provided to them from UPS. Since then, my dad helped modernize the company and grow it into the successful business it is today. The reason I chose this topic to discuss is because not only have I seen the growth of this company firsthand over the years, but I have also worked in the factory and front offices. Like any other product, the supply and demand of peanuts differs greatly throughout the year. While I was working there, a question arose in my head. What drives this increased demand throughout the year, and how is Whitley's able to accurately predict it to increase their supply? That is what we would be discussing today. As the company started to grow, one can analyze the increase in demand and supply, as well as the prices, through what causes the supply and demand curves to shift. As I mentioned, Whitley's was an archaic company when my dad joined. As the company has grown just over 400% by now, one can analyze what factors went into this to allow the growth in demand and supply. Let's start with price. The first thing that was noticeable was the addition of unique flavors such as Chesapeake Bay peanuts. By creating a product with little to no substitutes, they were able to make this product inelastic. Furthermore, by keeping all the production and ingredients in Virginia, they were able to advertise it as so. This further takes away from substitutes. This is also the reason they are able to sell their peanuts for almost $25 a tin, significantly more than your typical Planters peanuts. Furthermore, they were able to help move the supply curve to the right by modernizing their technology and creating deals to ingredients for cheaper. At this point, they have an inelastic product with few to no substitutes, with the ability to create a higher supply because of new technology and decreased input prices. Now let's talk about demand. Whitley's Peanuts now has 3 active stores along with a huge online presence. Each store differs in means of demand, and each store requires different products to be stocked at different times of the years. I'm going to break down the most successful store and increase in online sales throughout the years. Furthermore, I will explore the different reasons why they run the way they do with numbers directly from the company itself. The first and most successful store is the original one in Gloucester, Virginia. When I started working for Whitley's, I immediately started questioning why the store was the most popular, as the other stores in Williamsburg and Richmond were both in higher density areas and in locations with a much higher rate of tourism. When thinking of it from a supply and demand perspective, one has to look at the different factors that make each of these demand curves shift. Whitley's is one of the bigger businesses in Gloucester, creating a lot of jobs and bringing a lot of money to the area. When they did this, the average income in the area started to rise, pushing the demand curve to the right. Furthermore, since Whitley's Peanuts is right in Gloucester and makes great gifts, many people will buy their peanuts to give as gifts to relatives and friends since they are their hometown peanuts. Gloucester is also home to the infamous peanut fudge, which they exclusively make once a year. Products such as this one creates expectations from customers that also helps push this demand curve to the right. Furthermore, this store supply curve is pushed to the right as it is the one located closest to the factory, meaning it gets the most supply the easiest. Now let's talk about the internet. The online presence in Whitley's is outstanding. Well over 90% of their business is done in the span of only 3 months online. What months might you ask? Well, October, November, and December. Immediately, it is easy to find that the holiday season exists in those 3 months. However, what the most astounding fact is that the increase in sales of each of those months based off their expected growth. In October, they saw a 110% increase, in November a 361% increase, and in December a whopping 669% increase in sales. What is responsible for these inflated numbers? Let's analyze the supply and demand of these months. Let us start with supply. Similar to Thanksgiving, Whitley's expects a huge increase of business every single year. They prepare a product all year long, and when it comes time, they hire seasonal employees to help match the demand that is created. In doing this, they are creating favorable production conditions, making the supply curve move to the right. Now that they are stocked and ready to go, let's look at the demand curve. During the winter season, Whitley's is able to ship their candies and chocolates. This alone makes the demand curve move to the right because the tastes shift to a greater popularity, and they are hitting a more diverse population of people wanting to buy their products. Because who doesn't like candy? Furthermore, oftentimes at the end of the year, people receive bonuses from their job, creating the income to go up, and further pushing this demand curve to the right. Finally, with the holidays there, Whitley's makes great gifts. This pushes the demand curve even further to the right. Even with all this preparation, Whitley's still finds itself in a product shortage. However, during this entire time span, they never change their prices. This is a place where I think they are losing money that they could benefit from a little adjustment here and there. Now, let's analyze the price throughout the year. As I mentioned before, Whitley's has been able to corner a side of the market, creating a very inelastic product. Their price rarely ever changes, but in the months of low demand, which exist from about January to April, they often offer specials on their products to keep the demand high enough. All in all, Whitley's is a very effectively run business who is a gleaming example of how supply and demand can help your company grow.